The Galactic Council had one rule everyone trusted. Humans were harmless. For more than 200 years, this belief had never changed. Every species in the galaxy accepted it as truth. Humans were quiet. They stayed in their own space. They did not fight wars like others. They did not try to conquer planets. They did not build massive fleets. They simply existed. Their ships were small and simple. Trade vessels moved between systems. Science ships explored unknown space. Small colonies grew slowly on distant worlds. Nothing about them looked dangerous. To the powerful empires of the galaxy, humans were not even worth thinking about. The Zereth Empire was the strongest of them all. They controlled hundreds of star systems. Their war fleets were massive. Their ships were fast, heavily armed, and feared across the galaxy. No one challenged them. And when they spoke about humans, they laughed. They don't even have war fleets, a Zereth commander once said during a council meeting. They are not a threat, another added with a smile. The other species agreed. Some ignored humans, others used them for trade, but no one feared them. Why would they? Humans had done nothing to be feared. But slowly, something strange began to happen. It started far from the center of the galaxy, near the edges of human-controlled space. Outer colonies began to go silent. At first, it was just one. A small mining colony stopped sending reports. The council assumed it was a technical problem, maybe a communication failure. It was not important enough to investigate quickly. Then another colony went quiet, and another. Trade ships traveling near human space began to disappear. Routes that were once busy became empty. Pilots started avoiding those areas. There were no distress calls, no warnings, no signs of attack, no wreckage floating in space, just nothing. It was as if the ships had never existed. Some traders reported strange sensor readings before turning back. Others said they felt watched, even though their scanners showed nothing. Rumors started to spread, but the council did not take it seriously. Pirates, they said. Navigation errors, system failures. They refused to believe anything else. After all, humans did not have war fleets. Still, the Zereth Empire decided to take a closer look, not because they were afraid, but because they wanted to prove there was nothing there. They sent a scout ship. It was fast, advanced, and equipped with the best sensors in the galaxy. Its mission was simple: enter human space, scan the area, and report back. The ship entered the region without any problems. For a while, everything seemed normal. Then the signal stopped. No warning, no message, no final transmission. The ship simply disappeared. The Zereth Empire waited for hours, then days. Nothing came back. Even then, the council refused to panic. It is just one ship, they said. Accidents happen. Humans are still harmless. They repeated the same words again and again, as if saying them would make them true. But not everyone believed it anymore. Some began to feel uneasy. Something was wrong. Deep inside human space, beyond the reach of normal scanners, something was changing. Something massive. Something hidden. In the darkness between stars, far from any colony or trade route, enormous shapes moved slowly. They were silent. No signals, no lights, no sound. Ships. But not the kind the galaxy had ever seen before. These were not trade vessels, not science ships, not small defense fleets. These were something else entirely, something built in secret, something built over many years, something no one had noticed until now. They drifted through space like shadows, too large to understand, too quiet to detect. Entire fleets moved together without a single signal, escaping into the void, watching, waiting, preparing. Back in the council chambers, the same words were spoken once again. Humans don't have war fleets. But this time, the words felt different, because far away, in the cold darkness of space, the truth was already moving. And it was not meant to be seen. The Zereth Empire did not believe in fear. They believed in power, and power to them meant control. After the scout ship vanished, many in the council suggested caution. Some even warned that something unknown might be hiding inside human space, but the Zereth leaders only saw an opportunity. If something is there, one of their generals said, then we will destroy it. They decided to act, not with one ship this time, but with a fleet, a full battle fleet. Thousands of warships gathered at the edge of human territory. Dark metal hulls filled the space like a storm waiting to break. Weapons were charged. Shields were ready. The Zereth had fought many wars before. They had never lost. To them, this was not a risk. A message to the galaxy that no mystery, no silence, and certainly no humans could challenge them. The order was given. The fleet moved forward. As they crossed into human space, everything seemed normal. Stars burned quietly in the distance. Planets moved in their orbits. Nothing looked unusual. No defense systems activated. No warning signals appeared. No human ships came to meet them. The silence felt wrong, but the Zereth commander ignored it. "Keep moving," he said calmly. Their ships advanced deeper. Still nothing. No resistance. No sign of life. It was almost disappointing. "Where are these so-called threats?" One officer asked with a small laugh. Another replied, "There are none. Just empty space and old rumors." The commander allowed himself a smile. "This is what happens when weaker species try to hide," he said. "They disappear." But then, something changed. At first it was small. A sensor officer noticed a strange reading. "Commander, I'm getting interference." "From what?" the commander asked. "I don't know. It's not a known signal." The commander frowned slightly. "Ignore it. Stay on course." Moments later, another voice spoke. "Commander, Ship 47 is not responding. Check their systems." "We did. There is no damage report. No distress signal. They're just gone." The bridge went quiet for a second. "Gone?" The bridge went quiet for a second. "Gone," the commander repeated. "Yes, sir." Before he could respond, another report came in. Ship 82 is also missing. Then another. Ship 103. No signal. The calm order of the fleet began to break. Ships were disappearing. Not destroyed. Not damaged. Just gone. The commander stood up now, his voice sharper. "All ships, Titan formation, activate full scans, sensors pushed to maximum power." Energy waves spread across space, searching for anything unusual. They found nothing. No enemy ships, no weapons fire, no explosions, just empty space. But the ships kept disappearing, one by one, then faster. Entire groups vanished in seconds. Panic began to spread across the fleet. "How is this possible? We can't see anything. Are we under attack?" No one had answers. The commander's confidence started to crack. "This is impossible," he said quietly. Then, a new reading appeared. "Commander, I think we have something." "Show me. Show me." A faint shape appeared on the main screen. It was hard to see, like a shadow behind reality, massive but unclear. The sensors struggled to lock onto it. "Enhance the image," the commander ordered. The shape flickered. For a brief moment they saw it. A ship, but not like anything they had ever seen. It was enormous, larger than any Zerath battleship, dark, silent, almost invisible. Then it vanished again. The entire bridge froze. "What was that?" someone whispered. No one answered, because deep down, they all understood. They were not alone, and whatever was out there was far beyond anything they had expected. Suddenly, the fleet's communication channels filled with noise, static, broken signals, distorted voices. Then, for a single second, everything became clear. A message appeared, not from any Zereth ship, not from any known system. It was simple, cold, human. "You should not be here." The message ended. Silence returned. Then 10 more ships vanished at once. The commander felt something he had not felt in a very long time. Fear. Real fear. "Prepare to retreat," he said slowly. But even as the order was given, he knew they had already made their first mistake. And something in the darkness was just getting started. Far away from the fear and confusion of the Zereth fleet, human space was calm. No alarms, no panic, no chaos. Inside a hidden command center, deep beneath the surface of a quiet planet, a group of humans watched everything. Large screens filled the dark room. Each one showed the same thing, the Zereth fleet, or what was left of it. Ships blinking out of existence, formations breaking, fear spreading. At the center of the room stood Admiral Reyes. She did not look surprised. She did not look worried. She simply watched. "Status?" she asked in a calm voice. An officer beside her replied, "Phase 1 is complete. Enemy fleet is disorganized. Losses increasing." Reyes nodded slightly. "Good. Continue Shadow Protocol." No one questioned her orders. No one hesitated. Because this had all been planned. For years. No one hesitated. Because this had all been planned. For years. For generations. Humans were not weak. They were patient. Long ago, when humanity first joined the Galactic Council, they understood something important. The galaxy respected only power, and humans did not have enough of it. Not at that time, so they made a choice. They would not compete, they would not fight, they would not show their strength. Instead, they would hide it. While other species built bigger weapons and louder ships, humans worked in silence. They built where no one could see, far beyond trade routes, deep inside dark regions of space, places others avoided. There they created something new, something different, not just ships, but an entirely new kind of fleet. Back in the command center, another officer spoke. "Admiral, enemy sensors are still unable to detect full fleet presence." "Of course they can't," Reyes said softly. "Phase cloaking is holding. They only see what we allow them to see." On one screen, a massive shadow moved slowly behind the Zereth fleet. It was so large that it could have blocked out a star. But to the Zereth, it was invisible. Human ships were not designed to be seen. They did not rely on heavy armor alone. They did not depend on speed. They used something far more powerful: silence. Their hulls absorbed energy. Their engines left no trace. Their weapons did not flash or explode. When they attacked, ships simply disappeared. No light, no sound, no warning. It was not war as the galaxy knew it. It was something else. Something precise. Something controlled. "Admiral," another voice said. "Enemy commander is attempting retreat." Reyes looked at the screen. She watched the Zereth ships turning, trying to escape the invisible threat around them. "Not yet," she said. "They came here by choice. They will stay until the lesson is clear." There was no anger in her voice, no hate, just quiet certainty. For humans, this was not revenge. This was correction. Back in Zereth space, they had laughed. They had called humans weak. They had believed it, and that belief had made them careless. Now they were learning the truth, slowly, painfully. On another screen, a closer view appeared. One of the human ships. Its surface was dark, almost like liquid metal. No sharp edges, no visible weapons. It moved like a shadow, drifting silently behind a group of Zereth cruisers. Then it acted. No flash, no sound. The Zereth ships simply vanished, gone in less than a second. The human ship did not stop. It continued moving, searching for the next target. "Efficiency remains at 98%, an officer reported. Reyes nodded. "Maintain precision. No unnecessary damage." Humans did not want destruction. They wanted control. Every action was measured. Every strike had a purpose. The goal was not to destroy everything. The goal was to send a message, clear, unforgettable. Suddenly, a signal appeared on the main screen. The Zereth commander was trying to broadcast to the Galactic Council a desperate message. "Admiral," an officer said. "Should we block it?" Reyes thought for a moment. Then she shook her head. "No. Let them speak." The room went quiet. "They need to see this," she continued. "All of them. Let the galaxy hear the truth from the ones who believe the lie." The transmission continued. Broken voices, fear, confusion. The beginning of understanding. Reyes looked at the screen one last time, her eyes calm, her voice steady. "Prepare Phase 2. "What is the command, Admiral?" an officer asked. Reyes answered without hesitation. "Reveal 1% of the fleet." The officers froze for a second. Just 1% was enough. Enough to change everything. Far away, in the darkness of space, something massive began to emerge. Not hidden anymore. Not silent anymore. And for the first time, the Zereth Empire was about to truly see what humans had been hiding. The Zereth fleet was breaking. Ships moved in every direction, trying to escape the invisible enemy around them. Formation was gone. Orders were ignored. Fear had taken control. On the command ship, the Zereth commander stood frozen. He had fought many battles. He had faced powerful enemies, but never something like this. "Commander, we are losing more ships," an officer shouted. "I know," he snapped, but his voice was not strong anymore. Another officer turned from the console, fear clear in his eyes. "We can't see them. We can't target anything. Our weapons are useless." The commander looked at the main screen. Empty space stared back at him, but he knew now. It was not empty. Something was there, watching them, hunting them. Then suddenly, "All ships, stop." The order came through every channel, not from the Zereth fleet, not from any known signal. It was human, clear, calm, and impossible to ignore. Every ship froze. Even in their fear, they obeyed, because something in that voice felt absolute. The commander's hands trembled slightly. "Where are you?" he demanded. No answer came. For a moment, nothing happened. Then space itself began to change. At first, it was just a distortion, like heat moving through air, a ripple in the darkness. The Zereth sensors went wild. "Commander, we're detecting massive energy spikes." "Where?" he asked quickly. Everywhere, the distortion grew larger. The stars behind it bent and stretched, and then it appeared. A ship. No, something far greater. It emerged slowly from nothingness, like it had always been there, but had chosen not to be seen. The Zareth commander stared in silence. The human ship was enormous, bigger than anything the galaxy had ever built. Its surface was dark and smooth, reflecting almost no light. Lines of faint blue energy moved across its hull like slow lightning. There were no visible weapons, no windows, no weak points. It did not look like a warship. It looked like a force of nature. Impossible, the commander whispered. But it was only the beginning. More distortions appeared. More shadows moved. And one by one, they revealed themselves. Dozens, then hundreds, then thousands, then human warships filled the space around the Zareth fleet, each one silent, each one massive, each one massive, each one watching. The Zareth ships now looked small, weak, surrounded. An officer spoke in a broken voice. This is only one region. Another checked the readings again and again. Commander, these numbers, this can't be their full strength. The truth hit them all at the same time. This was not everything. This was just a part. Back in the human command center, Admiral Reyes watched quietly. Reveal complete, an officer said. Reyes nodded. Open channel. Back in the Zareth command ship, the screen changed. A human figure appeared, calm, still, eyes steady. We told you to stop, the voice said. The Zareth commander tried to speak, but no words came out. His mind was struggling to understand what he was seeing. You believed we were weak, the human continued. You believed we were unprepared. There was no anger in the voice, no emotion at all, just truth. We chose silence, the human said. We chose patience. The commander finally found his voice. What are you? He asked. The answer came without delay. We are what you ignored. Silence filled the space again. Then the human spoke one last time. This is your only warning. The screen went dark. For a brief moment, nothing happened. Then one Zareth ship fired. No one knew why. Fear. Panic. Instinct. The shot moved through space toward one of the human ships. It never reached its target. The moment it got close, it disappeared. Not blocked, not deflected, just gone. And in that same second, the Zareth ship that fired also vanished. No explosion, no sound. Gone. The message was clear. The human fleet did not need to shout. It did not need to attack wildly. Its power spoke for itself. The Zareth commander closed his eyes for a moment. When he opened them again, he understood. This was not a battle. This was judgment, and they had already lost. Slowly, with shaking hands, he gave the order. All ships, power down weapons. No one argued. No one resisted. Across the fleet, weapon systems shut down. Engines slowed. The once proud Zareth armada now stood still, surrounded by silent giants, watching, waiting. The galaxy had believed a lie for centuries, that humans were harmless, that they had no fleets, that they were not a threat. But now, as thousands of human warships floated in the darkness, that lie was finally broken, and the truth was far more terrifying than anyone had imagined. The Zareth fleet stood still, thousands of ships silent, weapons offline, engines low. No one moved, no one spoke. The once mighty armada, feared across the galaxy, now looked small under the shadow of the human fleet. The commander remained in his chair, staring at the dark shapes around them. He understood now. This was not defeat in battle. This was something worse. This was being completely outmatched, without even fighting. Commander, one officer whispered, "What do we do now?" The question had no easy answer. For the first time in his life, the commander did not know what to say. Before he could respond, the communication system activated again. A signal was being sent, not just to them, but to the entire galaxy. "Admiral," an officer said quietly, "they are broadcasting everything." The main screen changed. The Galactic Council chamber appeared. Leaders from hundreds of species were watching, some in shock, some in fear, some unable to speak at all. They were seeing the human fleet for the first time, and they could not believe it. "How?" One council member whispered, "This is not possible." Another voice shook with fear. "We monitored human space for centuries. How did we not see this?" No one had an answer, because the truth was simple. Humans did not build their power in ways others could understand. They did not follow the same rules. They did not need to. Back on the Zareth command ship, the commander took a deep breath. He knew what had to be done. "Open a channel," he said slowly, "to the human fleet." The connection was made instantly. The same calm human voice returned. "We are listening." The commander stood up. For the first time, his posture was not proud. It was heavy, careful. "We surrender," he said. The words felt strange, unfamiliar, but necessary. Around him, the officers lowered their heads. No one protested, because they all knew there was no other choice. Silence followed, long, uncomfortable. Then the human voice answered. Surrender acknowledged. No celebration, no victory tone, just acceptance. "You will power down all systems and remain in position." The voice continued. "Further instructions will follow." The channel closed. The commander sat down again. His hands no longer shook, because the fear had changed. It was no longer panic, it was understanding. Far away, in the council chamber, chaos began. Voices rose. Arguments started. How could this happen? They hid this from us. What else are they hiding? Some demanded answers. Others demanded protection. But deep down, everyone felt the same thing. Fear of humans. A fear that had never existed before. For centuries, humans had been ignored. Now they could not be ignored anymore. Back in Human Command, Admiral Reyes watched the broadcast. Her officers stood quietly around her. "The message is spreading," one of them said. "Every system is watching." Reyes nodded. "Good. This was never just about the Zirath," she added. "This was about everyone. Humans did not want to rule the galaxy. They did not want to conquer. But they needed one thing, respect. And now, they had it. On the screen, images of the Zirath fleet continued to play. Proud warships, now silent and still. A symbol of power, brought down without a battle. The galaxy would remember this moment for a very long time. "Admiral," another officer said, "what are our next orders?" Reyes looked at the stars displayed on the main screen. For a moment she said nothing. Then she spoke. "Begin withdrawal." The officers looked surprised. "Withdrawal?" one asked. "Now?" Reyes nodded. "We have shown enough." "Let them think," she continued. "Let them understand. There was no need to stay. No need to push further. The lesson had already been delivered." Across space, the massive human ships began to move, slowly, silently. One by one, they faded back into darkness, their forms disappearing like shadows at the end of a long night. The Zirath fleet remained where it was, alone now, but changed forever. The commander watched the last human ship vanish. He felt something strange. Not relief, not exactly. It was something deeper. A realization. "We were wrong," he said quietly. No one argued, because now the truth was clear. Humans did not need to show power to have it. They did not need to fight to win. They waited. They prepared. Thundel, Benaimgal. Across the galaxy, one belief had finally fallen. Humans are harmless. No one would ever say those words again. The galaxy did not return to normal. It could not. What had happened could not be forgotten. Every system, every planet, every leader had seen it. The rise of something they had ignored for centuries. Humanity. Days passed, then weeks, then months. But the silence that followed was very different from before. This was not the silence of ignorance. This was the silence of fear and respect. The Galactic Council called an emergency meeting. All major species attended. No one was late. No one took this lightly anymore. The chamber was quiet as the meeting began. No loud voices, no laughter, only careful words. "We must discuss humanity," one council leader said. The statement felt heavy. Before, humans were never the center of such discussions. Now they were the only topic that mattered. "They hid fleets larger than anything we have ever seen," another said. "And we never noticed," a third added. "That is the most dangerous part." The room fell silent again, because everyone understood power was one thing, but hidden power, that was something far more dangerous. A message request suddenly appeared from Human Command. The entire chamber froze. No one spoke for a moment. Then slowly, the council leader nodded. "Accept it." The screen changed. Admiral Reyes appeared, calm as always, focused, unshaken. No symbols of power behind her, no grand display, just a human speaking for humanity. "Members of the council," she began. Her voice was steady, clear. "We understand your concerns." No one interrupted. No one dared. "For many years," she continued, "you believed we were weak. You believed we were not capable of defending ourselves." She paused for a moment, not for effect, but to let the truth settle. "We allowed that belief to exist, Murmurs spread across the chamber, some confused, some shocked. You allowed it. One leader asked carefully. Reyes nodded. Yes, we chose not to show our strength, because strength is not something that needs to be proven every day. The council listened closely now. Every word mattered. We built our fleets in silence, Reyes said. Not for conquest, not for control, but for survival. Her eyes moved slightly as if she were looking at each leader individually. We have seen what happens in this galaxy. Empires rise, empires fall, wars begin, again and again. No one argued, because it was true. We decided long ago, she continued, that if war ever came to us, we would end it, quickly, completely. The words were simple, but their meaning was clear. A quiet tension filled the room. Then one council member spoke. Are you threatening us? Reyes did not react. No, she said calmly. We are warning you. Another silence followed, but this time it was different. It was understanding. We do not seek war, Reyes continued. We do not seek control over other species. We only ask for one thing. She paused again. This time her voice carried a slight weight. Respect. No one laughed. No one questioned it. Because now, it was earned. You will have it, the council leader said finally. Others nodded in agreement. One by one, the message was clear. Humanity was no longer an afterthought. They were now a force that shaped the balance of the galaxy. Reyes gave a small nod. Then there will be peace. The screen went dark. The meeting ended soon after. No long debates, no arguments. Decisions were made quickly. New laws were written. New boundaries were respected. And one truth spread across every system: never underestimate humanity. Far away in the quiet darkness of space, human fleets moved once again, not in attack, not in war, but in silence, watching, waiting, ready. They did not need to show themselves anymore, because everyone already knew. The shadows between stars were no longer empty. They belonged to humans, and if anyone forgot that, if anyone made the same mistake again, they would learn the same lesson, the hard way. But for now, there was peace, a careful peace, built not on fear alone, but on understanding. Humanity did not want to rule the galaxy. They did not want endless war. They simply refused to be weak, and that made all the difference. In the end, the galaxy did not fear humans because they were cruel. They feared them because they were prepared, because they were patient, because they were silent until it was time not to be. And that was something far more powerful than any fleet.